Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got some interesting Kobe brand news, hip-hop turning 50, ALDI trolling are either changing the sneaker game, this week's Hard Pass, and so much more. All right, let's just start the show with the usual. These are our hot takes. James Harden. Ooh, what did Daryl Morey do to you? Okay, we know what Daryl did to you, but man, did you have to do what you did in China of all places? Like, I'm guessing that was part of the calculus, like that time you wore a appendage that gave you a heftier appearance in Houston. I don't know if that's gonna work this time because Daryl and Philly let Ben Simmons sit at home until they traded him for you. So get ready to break out with old reliable and actually wear it in a game. The idea of you doing the equivalent of Goku and Vegeta training at 10 times the gravity to get ready for the androids in an actual NBA game? That's pretty funny. And another funny thing about Harden doing a full Kendall Roy in China is that now everybody is wondering what his deal is. Like, check out this video of Harden trying to dance along with the host. Some people are pointing out that he's living his best life right now, while others are asking if he's okay and needs to be rescued by Chris Hemsworth in Extraction 3. Some jackass stole Sabrina Ionescu's signature Nike Sabrina 1s after she helped her New York Liberty win the WNBA's in-season tournament. Ionescu posted the thievery on Twitter, mostly asking for her insoles back. Hopefully, those are returned soon since they are properly custom fitted for her. The sneakers taken were both player exclusive, one that was an homage to Phil Knight called Uncle Phil and an Oregon Ducks colorway. And look, no offense to Mr. Knight, Ben Affleck did a great job portraying him in the movie Air, but there's only one true Uncle Phil in this universe and the next, and that's the late great James Avery. Shout out to Chicago's Notary. The boutique has a Saloman XT4 collab dropping next week, and it's said to be inspired by grass-stained sneakers that we've all worn in our youth. And since they know that nobody is actually going to wear these for their intended purpose, which is hiking, running, and training, they're going to do the grass-stained look for them. Props for having a sense of humor, fellas, even if it is kind of a scathing critique on the culture who professes to love these kicks but rarely use them for activities beyond walking and flexing. But you didn't hear that from me. In nearly 2 decades of remaking his signature shoes each go-round, the Nike LeBron 21 is here, and what do you know? It kinda sorta looks like the Nike LeBron 20. It might have something to do with the 20 generating the most excitement in LeBron's signature line in a very long time, or it could be that James knows this year or the next could be the end and that he wants to make sure that everything that worked for the past few years, like the lower cut and the cushioning, stays intact. And wait, is that a purple nubuck upper? Wow, between the nubuck purple and velvet gold, we are firmly in the wise LeBron era. ALDI. So, the supermarket chain who you may have seen on the internet lately as the world discovers more commercials LA Knight was in before becoming the biggest star in WWE, will be stocking their new $12.99 Crane sneakers that look suspiciously like Nike Air Force Ones, just without the swoosh. I think they are different enough to avoid Nike throwing the book at them. You know, John Geiger, take note. But when they're priced like a Shake Shack combo meal, you might want to invest in some of those insoles like Sabrina Ionescu has on her kicks. Or you could just break out a Sharpie, write Utopia on them like Travis Scott would, and, you know, save yourself over $100. And speaking of things that suspiciously look like another thing, check out these Nike Calm Mules. Crocs isn't gonna let this slide, right? And some holes and gibbets on these things, and you have the biggest brand collab of 2023. Like, Nike didn't even have to do this so the jokes could fly. They could have called up Crocs 10 years ago, said they were making official swoosh gibbets, and they would have made so much money. I mean, just look at all of the bootleg Jordan retro gibbets out there. Not that they need more money, but that could be Nike's bag. It's these and pre-orders, Nike. You missing out, and you don't even realize it. Supreme will be replacing their wheat Air Force Ones with the Baroque Brown colorway, winning this week's award for news I honestly couldn't care less about. Unless ALDI makes a Baroque Brown colorway of their Crane sneakers, of course. That way I can finally use these bootleg Supreme stickers that have been taking up space in the studio for years now. StockX banned this seller who tried to bribe their way into passing authentication with $5. Not gonna lie, the seller deserved the suspension, but the raggedy $5 bill and the tongue-in-cheek smiley face would have popped me if I was the one doing the inspection. Like, this person had to have known this was going to be the outcome, so might as well have some fun with it. The news broke just as last week's show went live, but Vanessa Bryant handpicked the University of Kentucky to become the first Mamba program school, with more schools to come. The team will wear exclusive Nike Kobe shoes and apparel, while the team will not have the Mamba sheath logo. Shout out to Hattori Hanzo. Immediately, it's not outside of the realm of possibility in the future. LeBron and KD already have schools with their logos on them. It only makes sense for Kobe to do the same. John Donahoe, maybe you are living up to the promise of a relaunched Kobe brand, or these are just small gestures that won't lead to bigger things. I don't know yet, John Donahoe. We'll see. Like our pick of the week, which is the Nike Kobe 8 Pro Trail Halo. These are going to drop on August 23rd for $180. Look, John Donahoe, we've been doing this dance for the past few weeks about how you need to do right by Kobe fans all around the world and making enough Kobe Pro Trails for us to buy. And you know what? We won't stop until that's true. This new sneaker tradition, a yearly release that will take place on Kobe's birthday, needs to have sneakers that anybody should be able to buy without any hassle. If not, all this talk of a Kobe brand will not mean anything, and it will by far be the most disappointing Nike development in a long time. I don't think Vanessa Bryant and the Bryant estate would have signed up with Nike again if it meant that people were just going to complain that Kobe's were hard to get again. So do right by us, John Donahoe. If there's one thing you get right this year, it's this. Don't mess this up, John Donahoe. Just don't. All right, let's keep going with more hot takes. Hip-hop celebrated 50 years at Yankee Stadium last weekend. Not gonna lie, I was a little bummed I didn't get to go, but also not that bummed because the idea of getting in and out of Yankee Stadium with a hyped crowd like that sounds like the opposite of a good time. And also, I would not have wanted to be a part of the discourse about whether or not I should have stayed for the Run DMC finale. That got a lot of play as people were disappointed that the energy wasn't there for what was supposedly their final performance. On the one hand, it's Run DMC. They took this art that we love and took it to heights we could not have imagined. When today's artists talk about standing on the shoulders of giants, Run DMC are those giants. On the other hand, man, I'm trying to beat that crowd to get out of the Bronx. Anyways, other things I loved about the show, it was in New York, so of course it was going to be East Coast heavy, but love that Snoop Dogg popped up to represent the West Side, and Ice Cube, well, at least in his words, he don't come to do none of that new He keep it OG, 1990 Ice Cube, and that was great, man. Plus, Lauryn Hill showed up as a guest of Nas, and she reminded everybody why we still wait for her even when she's late by a few dozen hours. Ghostface rocking a Red Sox hat was a choice, and then taking a picture with the captain afterwards was definitely a choice. DJ Clark Kent killed it, of course, showing love to all those we lost. It was a beautiful night, man. Just maybe one I'd like to get back to the hotel afterwards at a reasonable time. And can we talk about wrestling for a minute? AEW's All In is this coming weekend, and based on tickets, this relatively new promotion can honestly boast that they ran the biggest wrestling show of all time. That doesn't include anything that happened in North Korea. Anyways, one of the biggest rumors for the show is that Bill Goldberg could make an appearance. A lot of hardcore wrestling fans and AEW marks are against the idea. But man, listen, as long as he's out there for more than 2 minutes and not trying to jackhammer somebody the size of Undertaker, let Goldberg cook. And if Bret Hart is there for some nostalgia vibes and to get some revenge on Bill, even better. I mean, who are we to doubt Goldberg's ability to draw and Bret's level of pettiness? So, earlier in the show, we mentioned James Avery, aka Uncle Phil. But how many of you know he was also a prolific voice actor who portrayed plenty of our favorite cartoon characters, including Shredder from the OG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon? I'll admit that it took me way too damn long to realize that Shredder was Uncle Phil, but now it's gonna be bittersweet for me if this latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reboot, which I loved, is a big hit and he's not around. Well, at least Kevin Nash can do the motion capture or something. In some, what news? A rare Michael Jordan Nokia cell phone from 1990? Here's a picture of that phone. Okay, I'm just gonna let that sit for a few seconds. Okay, there's no way in hell that phone is from 1990. That's a Nokia 5100 phone from the late 90s. Big difference. Second, Michael Jordan had a deal with the telephone company WorldCom in the 90s. You might remember these commercials during that time.
Hi, this is Michael Jordan. This is Michael Jordan. This is Michael Jordan for LDDS WorldCom Long Distance.
Go to the phones. We have a caller, Michael from Chicago.
You know, you really should get a toll-free number from LDDS WorldCom.
Is there a question in there, Michael?
Michael Jordan on line 5.
Hello?
Oh my gosh, it's him.
Hi, this is Michael Jordan.
LDDS WorldCom, telecommunications service that's one.
I tried looking it up, but I couldn't find anything about MJ working with Nokia. So while the faceplate does have MJ's name, it might just be a random sample phone. And honestly, that better be the case, because if I was MJ and saw that faceplate, I would replace it with a metallic silver one that had a shiny blue dragon in the back as soon as possible. What? Oddly specific? No. Don't judge my choices of faceplates. It was the early 2000s, and we all made decisions that we regret back then. Anyway, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go, like me, Jacques Slade. We just celebrated hip-hop's 50th birthday this past weekend, and then I go out and do this foolishness on the Red Bull Rap IQ show.
God, why can't I think of his name? Oh my God.
You did the button.
I know, but his name, I see his face. He got braids,
What's that?
dark skin.
Yuck.
Oh my God.
I think I'm killing it.
I
know,
it
sounds familiar though.
It's Kanye.
He sells a lot of cocaine.
He sells
in
a
every
lot
song.
of crack. Pusha T.
Fuck.
Pusha T.
Keep in mind that I just did a whole bit about Pusha a few weeks ago on this very show. It's not E-E-U-G-A-H-K, guys. It's ugh. We will also accept ugh as an alternate spelling.
Like either Y-U-U-G-H or just U-U-G-H. But it's usually Y-U-U-G-H. I gotta look at my rap books.
Look, man, I don't make the rules. I just reinforce them. Boom, 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 boom. As someone who actually used to do this rap game thing for real, I'm embarrassed. So yeah, hard passes on me this week, everybody. I promised to do better, and I did do better on the actual show, which you should go check out as it features me, friend of the program, Tamara Dia, NLE Choppa, and Duke Deuce. All right, so this week's actual hard pass, though, it goes to the NBA's in-season tournament. Until it's cool and we forget that this whole segment existed. But that's exactly what's going to happen in a few years. Last week, the NBA announced the groupings in the upcoming in-season tournament, their latest attempt to get us to care about basketball before Christmas Day. It's an idea that's been floated around for years by Commissioner Adam Silver after seeing such events work so well for soccer. As you might expect, it breaks tradition and that's not the way we've always done it crowd is not happy with this. And to be quite honest, it doesn't seem like the players are sold on this concept yet. And I understand why. As an American, our major sports have only ever had one thing to play for, and that's the championship at the end of the season. The NBA Finals, the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Stanley Cup. It's why the celebrations when teams win them are so iconic and why ring culture has dominated the sports discourse through much of our lives. Careers are made and broken over rings, championships, and banners. And you're gonna tell me the Minnesota Timberwolves, the kings of overachieving in November and December, might hang one of these banners and argue that their in-season tournament championship means just as much as the Larry O'Brien trophy? Right now, the criticism is that the tournament will be just a way to give the lesser teams a participation trophy because the veteran squads and the title contenders are not going to take this seriously. Like, we can barely give Nikola Jokic a reason not to go back to Serbia to ride horses, and he just won the biggest prize in the sport. You think he's going to spend more than the minimum amount of energy to go after a new thing? I have no doubt that the NBA is going to market this thing for the long haul. I think they know that this thing is going to be clowned on and hated by most fans. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that people couldn't make sense of the play-in tournament. But after a few years of compelling matchups and the Miami Heat coming out of the play-in to make it all the way to the finals, it's now become an established part of the NBA season. The league is just going to have to gut it out for a few years, unless LeBron wins the first one. Look, I'm not one of the conspiracy freaks who thinks the NBA is rigged or whatever. Like, the Knicks haven't won in 50 years and the San Antonio Spurs just drafted another potential superstar in Victor Wembanyama. But if the NBA wanted to tip the scales and get people talking about the in-season tournament right away, LeBron needs to win. A lot of NBA experts are saying that this type of tournament won't matter to a LeBron James or a Steph Curry or any of the other teams who have a chance to win the actual big one in June. But here's the thing. What if LeBron does care? What if he's thinking that he can make history and win the in-season tournament this year and be the first to stamp his name on that trophy or cup or whatever it's going to be? Could you imagine the meltdown Skip Bayless would have on whatever trash-ass show he hosts? What about all of the battles on social media as LeBron fans and LeBron haters waste precious time trying to determine what this would mean for James's legacy? The ratings for the Lakers in the final game against, I don't know, the Boston freaking Celtics would be crazy. And if you don't think Jacques Slade will use a hypothetical Lakers in-season tournament win against the Celtics as a way to declare that we technically have more championships than Boston, you don't know me very well. That'll never happen, of course. The more likely scenario is that the Timberwolves will beat the Hornets, Karl Anthony Towns will proclaim himself the king of December, Pat Bev will somehow get a ring retroactively, and then Minnesota will proceed to use the momentum to end up where they always end up, the play-in tournament, where they will either win to get in and get swept in the first round or choke away 2 games and trade Towns to get help for Anthony Edwards. Yeah. If I'm Adam Silver, I'm rigging this whole thing so the Knicks can finally win something. And you know how Knicks fans get when they win, well, really when they win anything. Yeah.
New York Knicks run New York City!
Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks!
All right. That's going to do it for the show. Thanks for watching Hard Pass. I'm Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right. I'll see you next week. Peace.